Go.
Okay, welcome everyone back to this table. Thank you, Maria. All right, what we need next right now is a motion to exit executive session and a second and a vote.
I make a motion to exit executive session at 10:59 PM.
A second.
Okay, Samantha, motion and a second, and the time is 10:59 PM.
Board Member Concha,
Yes.
Board Member King,
Yes.
Secretary Trujillo, Vice President Spray,
Yes,
President Flores.
Yes.
all right. As a matter of record, I want to state that we discussed nothing that in executive session other than 15.1. And no action, we decided that no action would be taken on either number 1 request, number 2 request from UNM Taos to acquire real property, number 2 request from Vista Grande Charter School to acquire real property and facility, and we are going to work on that further. We also are going to, right now, we need a motion to table 15.2 and 15.3 to another meeting. Would someone make that, please?
I thought we weren't going to table it. We just didn't discuss it.
No, I think we're going to table that to another meeting, correct?
Just mention for the record that you didn't discuss.
Okay, I'm sorry about that. So for the record, I want to state that for 15.2 and 15.3, we did not discuss at all in executive session this evening. All right, other new business. No action on either 16.1 or 16.2 was taken in executive session, nor will be taken right now. Future topics. Does anyone have any future topics they would like to bring up? Member Concha.
Thank you, Vice President Spray. I think this will be my 4th or 5th request to reduce meeting agendas. It's currently 11 PM and I'm extremely exhausted, and I don't think that it's fair to our staff, our families, our just in general, our overall health. And I've mentioned this before, for the sake of our health and well-being, that we reduce these agendas. I, for one, will be leaving at 10 PM every meeting. I can't stay this late.
Okay, thank you. Samantha, did you get that? Okay. Any other future topics from anyone?
Yes, the presentation from the Lohr Foundation.
Um,
Your mic.
That will be the 3rd request for that.
The presentation from the Lohr Foundation?
That's the 3rd request on that, just FYI. Member King,
So when is our next board meeting?
we'll say that in a minute, but it's May 14th. Well, no, we have the workshop, special board meeting workshops, May 14th, 5:30 PM, which will be at the middle school, correct? It says something different on the agenda, but it's middle school. And then our regular school board meeting right now is still scheduled for May 20th, 2026. Is that
The
correct?
14th, it's pending approval, so we haven't had that approval yet from President Flores. Once we do, then we can post it officially.
Okay, on the 14th?
That's correct.
Okay. He's the one who told us to advertise it though the other day, so he probably is going to approve it.
Correct.
All right. So, and right now, although I have heard a rumor that May 20th is an issue for Dr. Layton, so we're
And we
going
may
to,
not have a meeting after the 14th.
So one thing that we do have to do is have a finance committee meeting. So I would recommend or propose to the board any Saturday in May so that we can propose, once that budget gets reviewed, we can submit to PED.
okay, that didn't answer the question about May 20th.
So the question on May 20th is like what I mentioned before. Because the high school has the class night, I had proposed to the board previously to move it from the 20th to the 27th, but I believe 1 or 2 board members may not be able to make it. And so if there's another date that the board should consider, just let me know so that we can make those arrangements.
And you're also asking for a finance committee meeting on a Saturday?
Or another date that would suit best, but in May, so that we can, as a district, submit the budget.
Okay, do you know how long you would expect that would run?
Depending on the questions from the board, but it could be anywhere from 1 hour to 3 hours, depending upon the board's inquiry.
Okay, what does the board wish to do with this?
Let's So is President Markham online?
Yes.
Mark, are you online?
Yes, I am.
Okay, do you have input on that?
In regards to the the reschedule of the 20th meeting? 20,
Uh, Right now,
No,
we're
the
talking
budget.
about, Superintendent Layton has just suggested that we need a finance committee meeting in May. And he first suggested a Saturday in May, and then he said, or any other day that would work, but it will be probably between 1 and 3 hours long was the guess.
And I wanted to respect Member Concha's request to have some on Saturdays at the same token.
Right. Yeah, so essentially we're looking at 3 more meetings for the month of May.
So for me, it would be the 23rd or the 30th would be the only Saturdays I can do it in May.
I don't know what my schedule is, only because I have out-of-town trips with Alessandro for the week, so I don't know.
So should we all try and coordinate that with you by text?
Well, yeah,
Yeah.
Superintendent, if you could send us some dates.
Yes.
Right, well, the high school graduation is the 22nd, so
Yeah,
the
that's Friday.
23rd is gonna be a rough one for, because it's an evening
Unless
graduation.
it's in the
Do
afternoon.
then the 23rd.
So we're looking at the 30th.
That other Saturday after that.
The 30th?
Or
The
the week,
30th?
or the week,
Or
or the last
weekday.
week of May.
Yeah, weekday for a couple hours like we did with our CES on Monday.
Yeah.
What about you for work?
Yeah, as long as it's like more towards the afternoon,
Yeah.
that's
The end
flexible.
of
Towards the end of the day,
End of the
yeah,
day, yeah.
maybe that's better.
Again,
Okay.
couple days.
You can give us a couple days.
Okay, so why don't you shoot text to us about possibilities and we can all answer you. Does that work? Okay, any other future topics? I have a couple. And you requested a lower presentation again. Okay, and Board Member King, you don't have any? President Flores, do you have any?
Not at this time.
Okay, I have two, I think. One is I would like to have a special meeting as soon as possible prior to further actions being taken if possible. Outlining to the board specifically the current adjustment plan to staff and programs, et cetera. The thing that Dr. Layton, you and I were talking about yesterday, so that the board's very clear of what we're reducing and why, and we might need to do an overview of the budget at that same time to understand better what the decisions are that are being made. And then I would like to ask for a community schools workshop, which doesn't have to be noticed unless more than 2 board members are present. But I think Renetta would need to be there and Raul to help have the board have a better understanding of how the interface is working between the county and the district. And then I also wanted to mention our May 14th at 5:30 at the middle school, as long as President Flores approves of it. I wanted to make that, mention that to the public so people would know that they're invited. And that's what I have for today. I actually do have a list of things that have been on the future topics list for a long time, but I'm going to save that for the next meeting. One of them, Secretary Trujillo already alluded to, and the other one, Member Concha did. So that we'll just continue, I'll continue that list later. All right, anyone have anything else? No?
Vice President Spray.
Yes, sir.
So in regards to the Lore Foundation, it's my understanding that, because I did talk to the superintendent about getting that scheduled, he did reach out to Mrs. Sonia Struck and she was unable to do a presentation at that meeting that was coming up at the time.
Okay.
So I'm not sure the superintendent reached out to me again, but an attempt has been made. I think from what I understand, Mrs. Struck was going to reach back out to the superintendent, letting him know when she was available to do a presentation. So I'm not sure where that's at, but we have requested a presentation from the Lore Foundation and I've been involved with that. And then you made a mention of a community schools workshop
Yes.
that doesn't need to be noticed unless 2 or more board members are present. Well, I don't understand. If we're going to have a workshop, it's going to need to be noticed. And if it's going to have the board there, I don't understand why there'd be less than a quorum.
Well, it could be a special meeting then, however it needs to work, but there's some questions and things that need answering, and we just need to all be on the same page kind of with it. And so however we want to work that out, my understanding was you could have a committee meeting or a meeting if only 2 board members were present. It didn't have to be noticed, and I don't mind noticing everything. So whatever it takes to get it done is fine.
Yeah, no, I think it's important though that all the board hears all the same information, and if there's a request for a workshop or there's questions regarding community schools, that it be noticed, to be publicized, to be recorded, and everybody be present.
Perfect. I'm very happy with that. I just didn't want to cause us all to have too many meetings in the next little bit of time.
No, and I'll reach out to attorneys on the languages as well to be sure that we,
Okay, perfect. Thank you. And then Dr. Layton, you could set up whenever to help us understand more of some of the machinations of moving people around and what we're trying to do, kind of an overview of it. I've also been saying that I think the board should sit down and look at the future with the declining enrollment issue, with which buildings we're planning on maybe not even being using in the next 3 or 4 years, and not putting a lot of money into improving those buildings if we don't think we're going to be using them all. Anyway.
so Vice President, is that a 4th item, so I can be clear?
that
The
could be-
buildings?
that we should do that. I think that we need to do that to be responsible.
That way I can add it to the
But
request for
it
the,
shouldn't all be on the same agenda, because I agree with Naomi. We have to, Mark, when you get back, let's talk about ways to end these things earlier. Maybe even I had an idea of doing executive first, starting it at maybe 4 o'clock, getting the executive out of the way when we're all more awake. But we can talk about it when you get back and have a
Well,
good.
with having executive right away, we're keeping staff waiting until we come out of executive session to conduct business.
Right.
That's not very, I don't think that's fair to staff to keep them waiting for us to come out of executive session.
Well, yeah, they would probably be happy to go home before 11 or 12.
Right, because we have staff on the opposite end waiting for
Right.
us to executive session, and they
Right.
also have families as well, so we have to be considerate on both ends.
It's just something, let's try and find a better way of doing things if we can come up with a better solution, I think. All right, anyone have anything else? President Flores, do you?
Yeah, I just, with regards to tonight's agenda, I think it was a very, it was a good agenda. We recognized staff and teachers and the principals, and the items on the agenda weren't very, there was not a lot of, we had an extensive executive session discussion that all the board was involved in. So, I have worked with the superintendent on trying to keep the agenda to a minimum, but there's school business that needs to be conducted, and they can't wait. So, with all due respect to those board members that have issue with the meetings taking as long as they have, it's important school business. And if we don't want to have presentations from our site administrators, if we don't want to recognize district staff, if we don't want to have a
President
presentation on
Flores, if I may,
operations.
we're not saying we don't want to do that. We're just saying we can fine tune things. For example, presentations can be held to a minimum, things like that. We don't need to talk about personal opinions or other things that can lead to having longer meetings. So if we cut, like you said, down to business, there was a lot of important things that we addressed. It was great to acknowledge the staff, and we can tailor. It's not that we don't want any of this to happen. It's just that we are one of the boards that go for super long sessions compared to other districts even larger than ours, and we have to consider our mental health, our well-being, and that of our staff, like I said, who also have families. So it's not a matter of not wanting these specific things on the item. It's working together to figure out how we can fine tune it so we can all get out at a decent time. Thank you.
I have one.
Go ahead,
One
Secretary.
of my suggestions is that to limit the time that they do their presentation, even if there is a presentation. Again, the amount of, can be limited and get everything that they want to bring to us, which is very valuable, said, but again, a short period of time.
Vice
Yeah,
President,
President Flores, I don't think anyone was saying it wasn't valuable, but the last 5 meetings we have left, the earliest we've left is 11:11, and the latest we've left was 12:20, but they've all been between 11:11 and 12:20 in the morning. And I just personally don't think it's so fair to the public that we're making big decisions in executive when we're exhausted. Most of us work all day and then come here and work till midnight. It's just, I just think it'd be better to do that when we're more fresh or have, however we want to all work it out. We're all smart. We can figure it out. Dr. Layton, you had something you wanted to
Yes,
say?
Vice President Spray, President Flores, members of the board. When I first came here my first year, I recommended that we have presentations between 5 and 7 minutes so that the board would have 3 to 5 minutes for Q&A. But that's something that the board would have to agree as a collective that that would be able to be for any presentation. That way it's equitable across no matter who's presenting, but at the same token, keep it in mind that we want to keep it going. And I do want to kind of touch base with one of our districts, Albuquerque Public Schools. Their agenda is about twice as long, but there's half the time, but because they do limit presentation time and strict guidelines that they, as a board, brought together. And I think the student outcomes governance that we continue with CS will actually outline that piece as well.
Dr. Layton, I have a curiosity. Who determines which presentations we're getting when? Is that something you decide or?
That's
you and
based
Mark?
on policy, actually. The policy is that the board president and the superintendent together review the policy for approval based on whatever input is provided within the date given times, but it is by policy.
Meaning the policy determines which
No,
group presents?
Meaning the policy determines who reviews, and then the presentation is just up to what the board president and the superintendent agree what the
That was
agenda
my
should be.
question. Who picks which ones are presented, which nights? That's what I was asking. Okay, thank you. Does anyone else have anything else? And Mark, are you okay with stuff? You have anything else to say?
No, I'm good. I hope everybody has a good night and get some rest.
Oh, you too, and good luck at
too.
your, good luck at your
President Flores.
conference,
Be safe on the way back.
your training. All right, motion to adjourn. Those in favor or second? Someone seconds the motion.
Second.
Okay, those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Thank you. Thank you, Samantha. Thank you, Dr. Layton, and thank you, Maria.